DJ Shaw Boogie.
Another Thursday on the Making Me Matter radio show. Yes. And who is super excited about that is me. Are you guys excited? How is your day today? Thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, Lori, I see you. Shanita, thank you so much. Shanita, you representing Irvin today. What cities are you guys in at this moment? Where are you? While you guys are over here trying to rep and shine on the show, I want to go ahead and rep your city. Go ahead and put your city out there. Shanita, you up in Irvington. Latoya, I know you are in the South somewhere. I just can't remember where in the South that you are. Go ahead, put your city. We're doing a roll call first, and we're going to get started. Hey, Lance.
What's up?
How are you?
Recovering.
Yeah. What's been up with you?
You know.
Yeah.
Recovering from being sick and all these funerals. It's been a week and a half, 2 weeks of just, but I'm good. I'm thankful I'm alive. That's all I can say.
That's good. We missed having you on the show. People were saying, oh, tell Lance we said hi. So y'all hear that? Lance is back. So you guys can say hi to Lance while you guys are here. So, hey, look at that. Latoya is giving us a shout out from Houston, Texas. Hey, DeWanda. Right. Yes, all the way from H-Town. Tamara is out in Newport News. Oh, we definitely got you guys from all over the place, which is so awesome. So have you guys been watching the news? Did you see the news recently about that self-driving Uber crash?
Uber. I said that when they introduced it, though. I thought that was a bad idea. I mean, if you got computers that fail and things that sit there, and when you have technology that has glitches in it, I just couldn't understand why they would approve for something to be out on the road with pedestrians. You ever try driving in New York and you see people running across the street like that? You know what I'm saying? And not stopping and just cutting through, and you gonna trust a car to stop on them?
Right.
Nah.
Like, who does that?
What's up, Tina?
It's just incredible. While you guys are on, do me a favor, go ahead and share this. Justin Coleman, big shout out to you, friend. Congratulations on your baby girl with her cute self. Her nickname is Munchie in my head. She's adorable. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I need you guys to go ahead, share this video, get it out there so that we can talk about this thing. This Uber. Can we show everybody Bella? Is it okay? Can you bring Bella over here? I would really want Bella like on my lap, like for real. Hi, the baby. Do you guys see this? Look at this little munchkin. Hey, Bella is adorable. Puts me in so many different modes right now. Take the dog. Like, take her, because that puts me in dog mode. So when I saw that, here's the thing. They showed the video and it looked like the driver was looking down. And so now the question is,
I don't even know really how that completely works, though. What is it? Is somebody sits behind a controller and they drive it from somewhere else? Is that how it's working? Or
no, I think you put, and maybe I'm wrong. I want to say I think you put the address in, and it literally drives and does everything. And then the person.
So at no time is there a human behind it controlling it? I'm saying, because like even though you have autopilot for a plane,
right,
you still have a co-pilot right there,
right?
You know what I'm saying? To help kind of guide things, but I can't understand why somebody would let that thing just drive itself. That's crazy, though.
Right. But in the part that's crazy is that there was, when you have somebody behind the wheel, And even though it was a self-driving car and the driver was behind the wheel, but I guess they probably figured, oh, it's a self-driving car, I don't have to pay too much attention, because in the video, the dash cam, it showed the interior of the driver, and the driver looked down for a good minute and did not have their eyes on the road at all. So I'm wondering if charges will come against the driver that wasn't driving. And so if you guys get a chance later on, go to the Making Me Matter radio show page, and then the poll is up about, would you ever would you use the self-driving car? And the poll is up on our Making Me Matter page. So Mark Zuckerberg, his stocks have dropped, you ready for this, by $35 billion. That's a big deal.
Jesus. You know what's crazy? $35 billion ain't even a lot to him, though.
Someone else said the same thing.
It is, but it's not in comparison, because he's still probably a billionaire.
He's still very much of a billionaire.
So,
right.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
30. Right.
Give
35.
10% of that, homie.
What? That's it. Just 10%, and we'll be good.
Pay my tithes and everything.
Right. Hey, Jay. Good to see you. Hi, Dwayne. Hey, Ron. I see you. Hi, Trash and Nick. I see you guys. Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg he came out and said that he's really sorry that this happened, that whole situation with all the data. About 50 million Facebook users, their information and their account information has been
leaked.
There it is. Without their knowledge. And then it says here that and it may have, and the data might have been kept after Facebook had asked that it be deleted. So now privacy, of course, remains an issue. And
I don't trust all these social media.
I know you don't.
I don't mess
you
with
don't
it.
like social media. You've
all.
always said
At
that.
all.
You've
At all.
always said that you don't like it. And so
it's too much. It's like once it's out there, it's out there. You know what I'm saying?
It's just sad. So here's something else. The last thing I want to talk about real quick before we take a really, really quick break is Stephon Clark. And I'm saying this in front of the right person. Stephon Clark. And apparently, this is another issue where
I know the story. That's what I just said. Go ahead.
A young black man, a young black father of two beautiful kids, went through the back door or the back fence of his grandmother's yard, and police allegedly have mistakenly assumed him to be someone who was busting in, I think, windows, breaking into cars. And so when they saw him in the backyard, they assumed that he was the suspect that they were looking for. And so they ended up shooting him. They shot, wasn't it 20 times?
It was something like that.
They shot him about 20 times in his grandmother's backyard because they thought his cell phone was a crowbar. So here's my deal. Even if you thought his cell phone was a crowbar, was he worth shooting 20 times, or was he worth even shooting? Why couldn't you? You're trained to shoot in certain areas. So It's not true. You're not trained to shoot in certain areas. So explain this to me.
The minute the technical thing is, the minute you sit there and you pull out your gun to shoot, you're shooting to incapacitate the person.
Really?
That's what it is.
Okay. See, I didn't know that.
No.
I didn't know that.
A lot of people sit there and say that. They're like, oh, well, you can shoot in your leg and you can shoot in your, the arm and stuff like that. But even when, I was in law enforcement, the thing was, when you shoot, you're supposed to shoot to sit there and incapacitate, and that's it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this much. I never thought that.
That's
I'm
exactly
like, why
why
can't
they
just
say.
shoot?
That's why they say as a last resort, you're not supposed to. You know what I'm saying? No.
So they have the wrong suspect, and this is now something. I'm curious to see if the cops what kind of charges are going to be.
None.
You don't think so?
No, probably not, because they're gonna say they were doing their job. None.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, Minister Darlene is on. She said, I thought it was shoot to subdue, but not shoot to kill.
No.
Wow.
No, shoot to subdue. That's not. You look it up. It's not. That's not what it is.
It's shoot to kill. See, I thought it was too.
No, it's not shoot to kill.
Okay.
But the thing is, you're supposed to sit there and basically be able to. I'm trying to remember what the technical. Think about this. This was 20 years ago for me.
Okay.
So I'm saying, I'm trying to think what the technical term is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. It's basically. You're supposed to be able to take the person out. Deadly force.
Mm.
I mean, When people sit there and say that all the time, well, they could have shot, and they tell them they're taught to use deadly force.
This has gotten completely out of control, and my heart goes out to that family, to the grandmother, to his children's mother, and to those kids. We have got to, and it's not necessary. I'm saying we have got to get better. The police force has got to use wisdom and do better in regard to their target, and be sure these are just assumptions.
Well, but here's the thing too. Mm-hmm. Somebody said this before. When you're policing in areas where you're scared of the people, mm-hmm. you shouldn't be a police officer in that area. So if you already afraid of the people, and you don't sit there and have relationships with people, that's the problem. It's not enough relationships between police officers and the streets. You know what I'm saying? So right. I mean, if that's your mentality, that you automatically are scared of, think how many people, as soon as they ride down the streets in New York, they sitting there hitting the lock button. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying they should or shouldn't.
Right.
But my point is, if that's your mentality as a police officer going into something, you know what I'm saying, you flinch at someone and you automatically trigger happy. Well,
so. You're 100% right. And it's still just a sad
It's always sad anytime
case.
Somebody losing their life.
Absolutely. It's really just sad. And they I was going to say they caught the Austin bomber, but he ended up killing himself. I don't know if you guys heard about that. It was just so much just going on. It was more killing this week than you can shake a stick. Go ahead.
Here we go. Deadly force, also known as lethal force, is a force that is likely. I was looking up one of the things that when we were in the military is likely to cause either serious bodily injury or death to another person. In most jurisdictions, the use of deadly force is justified only under conditions of extreme necessity as a last resort, and when all lesser means have failed or cannot reasonably be employed. So that's the basic thing. It's a checklist. Did you sit there and try to talk them down? Did you tell them to take, to show their hands? Did you tell them to do this? Did you do this? Did you do that? And if the checklist can be justified, that's what, that's how a lot of people get away with it.
Wow.
I told them, freeze. They didn't freeze. I sat there and said this. They started coming towards me. There was something that looked like, I thought my life was at risk. So, it's all about how you write a good report.
Unbelievable. So we're going to go ahead and take a break. Me, Lance, and Bella, who does not want to get off my lap. All right, y'all. So we are going to take a quick break. Enjoy the music for a second, and we will be right back on
8 Squad Rebel Radio.
The most talked about internet radio station in the land.
I confess, SOS, I need you daily. Can't lie, say the pain don't faze me. My God, who gon' help these babies? Dysfunctional, but I'm functioning. I'm just wondering if your signs and wonders might wander in and get me out the hole that I stumbled in. Well, I know I tried, and Lord know I cried. Hell, I'm tired, need a helping hand to get me out the fire. Yeah. My.
I've been in the fire so long, I can't get burned no more. I thought you was putting out the flame, but it was rain from the storm. That's over my head, making me stressed all day long. They won't let me rest, it's on my chest. I ain't that strong. I need a lifeline right now. 911 won't do. My back's against the wall now. Done all that I could do. I prayed every prayer, went to every service like I know how. Just a ship without a sail. I'm lost without your help. I need help. Oh, Lord, I need your But it ain't about my will, it's all about what you want. Family used to be first, things getting worse in my home. My brother is hurt, we need a word. It's too far gone. I need a lifeline right now. 911 won't do. My back's against the wall now. Done all that I could do. I prayed every prayer, went to every service like I know how. Just a ship without a sail. I'm lost without your help. Lord, it's me this time. Said I'm crying, Lord, yeah. Yeah, I need help. I just can't make it if I don't have your
Dear Lord, I need a little help now, see? I feel left out, I can't tell my right from my left now. My mama's crying cause my daddy's dying. He got pains all in his chest now. My daughter's having these nightmares. I might be wrong, but I'm right here, yeah. I'm trying to hold on when my hands hurt or the ropes out. Cause when life fights, it don't fight fair. So I'm leaning all on these ropes now. And I got hope, but it's low now. So I'm leaning all on these quotes now. Like never leave me, won't forsake me. If you don't help me, I don't make it.
Said you never leave me. So come on, Jesus. Lord, I need your help. Does anybody need the Lord? I can't make it without you, Lord. I need your help. Somebody laying in the hospital right now. Need you to make it alright. God, I just lost my daddy. I need. Yes, I need. Oh, yes, I need. I'm crying, Lord, yeah. Come on and sing for me.
He promised me he will. He promised me he will. And I believe he will. Yes, I believe he will. He promised me he's a He promised me he's a and I believe he's a yes, I believe he's a no other name I know in troubled times he shows whatever the need I go to my provider. And if cash gets low, I just he promised me, y'all.
He's a healer, healer, healer.
He promised me, y'all.
He's a healer, healer, healer.
And I believe,
He's a healer, healer.
yes, I believe.
He's a healer, healer, healer.
And he promised me he's my
Protector, protector, protector.
He promised me he's my
Protector, protector, protector.
believe, I believe, I believe. I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. Yes, I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. He promised, he promised, he promised, he promised, he promised, he promised.
Thank you. We're about to get started again. Yes. Thank y'all for jumping on. Make sure you tell a friend, text a friend, send a smoke signal, share this. We have something that we are going to go in talking about. And it's a touchy subject for a lot of people, but at the end of the day, one thing we do with Making Me Matter is deal with real life issues, and we have real talk, and we try to provide real solutions. And so, Lance.
Yeah.
People have been saying, "Oh, Tiffany, this past 2 weeks I've been by myself." That looks great.
Detoxer.
How about I need that? So people have been like, "Where's Lance? We don't see him. Where's Lance?" Yada yada yada. And I'm like, Lance is out. There's some things that he's taking care of, but I didn't want to put your business out there. I'd rather just, respect your privacy. But Lance has been dealing with funerals back to back.
You can tell them the truth. I was in jail. It's like, let me stop. I spread like wild.
The truth is,
yeah.
So in death is a part of reality, but the truth of the matter is it hurts. Like, I don't know what. You've had several deaths, and even the funny thing is
5 actually.
Woof! You had 5 back to back.
Yeah, 5 in a matter of a week and a half.
Wow.
From ages 16, 92. I mean, all over. We've had a lot of deaths in my family, and the thing is, with that, I usually do the cooking, or my brother will help, do the repast, or
right.
If I got to speak there, or so. I'm just one of those people that I'm close to. Usually everybody in my family,
right?
And I have relationships with everybody, so it takes a toll, and it doesn't it don't get any easier. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing easy about it, right?
Especially when you don't really have time to even prepare for one before the next one comes up, and
right.
then the next one comes up, and then the next one comes up, and the next one comes up.
Right.
You know what I mean? So. I mean, I've dealt with, obviously, we come from a big family, so dealt with a lot of deaths, but to have, 5, in that matter of time is, it's a lot. It's a lot. You know what I mean?
16.
Associated with my family. Yeah, that was, it's just a long story, but, it's, anytime it hits close to home.
Everyone's saying that they're sending their condolences and their prayers.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. But, everybody's like, well, how do you deal with it?
Right.
And it's funny that we chose the title that we chose. I mean,
right.
I was once lost. The old me, I wouldn't have been able to deal with it. I probably would have went out there, done something to somebody, or done something to myself, or drown myself, and we just got to be honest with ourselves, because
right.
far too many times we're not honest. I would have drowned myself in women, or drowned myself in at that time maybe some weed. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a drinker. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I would have drowned myself in something, and got off on some type of something that would be satisfactory to me.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
To fulfill that.
Yeah.
To fill that void.
Or going out there fighting, or just hanging out in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm at the point now where a lot of us don't like to talk about, we use the title Making Me Matter.
Right.
And far too many times we're very politically correct, and we don't like to talk about topics and subjects that are dear to us and hurt on us. I grew up where, men don't cry. That was just how I grew up.
Right.
I'm at the point now where I'm like, man, listen, I'm 43 years old. I should be able to shed a tear, or I can break down, and I can, do this, that, and the other, and let my daughter see it's okay, or let my nephews know it's okay. But there's still time. You need to know when to be a man, and you need to know when to man up and stop, being soft. But, at the end of the day, show that you're still human and you're still vulnerable. A lot of us don't understand that even scripturally, and we're biblically, I mean, you know, it's you take your time to mourn. Jesus mourned for Lazarus. You know what I'm saying? And you have to sit there and take your time. You know, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning.
Right.
The thing is, when you say joy comes in the morning, when is your morning? Is your morning that actual morning? Is your morning for a week from now, 2 weeks from now? I don't know how this is going to hit me because it's still catching up to me.
Right.
And, you know, sometimes I'll be in church and then I just find myself when I'm getting caught up in worship or when I got to speak, you know, it comes out in other things. I don't know how I'm going to deal with it. But, you know, as I said, you know, I once was lost.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, I'm found to the point where, one, I know who I am. Right. Two, I've dealt with a lot of my past demons, and I'm very honest with my demons.
But you said something. You said you've dealt with them.
Yeah.
That's something people don't deal with, hurts and issues when it comes to grieving.
Because I'm honest with my demons. I'm honest in the sense of that, you know, I can recognize my faults. And it's scary sometimes that even church or out of church that you actually have to be very careful in being honest with yourself, being honest in front of other people, because people will use your testimony against you. They will,
yes,
you know,
they will.
Your testimony is actually, you know, you're supposed to go through certain tests in order to have a testimony. Right. But people will actually use it against you, and they'll sit there and, you know, oh, well, she used to be a drug addict, so I know because her eyes were red, she's still doing X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? And they take it and they use it against you. Unfortunately, we deal with that as people in a lot of relationships. Right. You know, if you were, and I'm just being honest, men will catch it more. Right. If he's honest that he used to be out there and he used to be, you know, doing this, that, and other, if he honestly speaks in front of his present woman on the phone and he's, you know, like just real platonic, casual conversation, a lot of times she's like, who was that? Because of the image that she's had based on excuse me, my sinus is bothering me. But the image that she's had based off of who it was that she knew him to be, you know. So a lot of us that were lost, and a lot of us are still lost because what's happening is it's called transference. You know what I'm saying? And you basically will try to deflect. You know, you might have the real issue. You might be real insecure yourself, but yet and still you'll find that fault in somebody else because you don't want to have to face the fact that you have insecurity issues.
And that's good. I want to read a couple of things real quick. Big shout out to my homie PT. I see you on here. So Elder Ron, her name is Elder Rhonda, but we call her Elder Ron. Elder Ron posts, I got some news on yesterday that broke my heart. Tears rolled and I turned my ringer off because I did not want to talk to anyone. God is still awesome. And I had to deal with my pain. That's why to hear you say the dealing part. And then Evelyn Ferguson just said, next month makes 2 years since my angel dad has gone to heaven. And I still have no idea if my night is coming to an end or not.
It's and you know what? I'll be honest, like I said, and I put mine out there. My closest confidant. Closest person to me. I was just a wild child. And my grandmother, my mother's mother, we called her mama, was the person who was the closest to me. I drove all the way from California when I was just getting out the military to bring my first, you know, born home to see her, because I knew that would be the last Christmas that I would have with her. And I brought my daughter home to see her. My daughter at the time was only 11 months, so she doesn't remember. You know what I mean? But to watch my grandmother kind of not know my daughter and watch her go through that, you know, because she had dementia and Alzheimer's and, you know, cancer on top of it. So it was just one thing after the other. And so I kept flying. I drove back to California. Then I flew back a couple times, and she passed away in July. And here it is. That was 2000. My daughter was born 2000. So that was 2001. She passed away. And still, I'll just catch myself driving down a road and thinking about things that's happening in my life that are good. That I'm like, man, I wish my grandmother was here to see it. Yeah. And although I might break down, I find myself saying, I gotta laugh because what I have to say to myself is, what would she say if she was here? You know, I can hear her in her little country voice, boy, pick your head up. You know, stop sitting there pouting. You know what I'm saying? But see, that's where I find solace and joy in. And that's why I tell everybody now, the people you have issues with, the stupid things that you choose to allow to separate you to, you know, don't you dare sit there and let another day or minute go by without just at least making peace if it's somebody that you feel like you want to be in your life.
I agree totally. And so I agree.
Put that over here.
I agree totally. But here's the thing. It's funny when you mention your grandmother. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't talk about my grandmother long. And you know that. Like, I just cannot. My grandmother was diagnosed with stomach cancer when I lived in Dallas. And for the first time in my life, I felt like it was a situation that I could not control.
You can't, though.
And I couldn't, but at least I mean, there's been times that I said, well, if I never moved to Dallas and I was here, I would have had more time. I mean, I moved to Dallas and then.
It's all the time, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
You beat yourself up.
I beat myself up big time. And then I'm like, I move away trying to start a better life. And then my grandmother dies within 6 months and 7 months. So it did something to me.
How old was your grandmother, if you don't mind me asking?
She was 78.
See, and my grandmother was 85, I believe.
Wow.
85, 86. But see, I think it hits harder and it hits home. You know what I'm saying? You know, Malcolm was only 16 years old. You know what I'm saying? So and it kind of came out of nowhere. So to watch, you know, my brother break down and watch, you know, that's his only son. You know what I mean? So to watch that, it hurts more. And as selfish as you don't want to be, you still imagine yourself like, man, you know, my daughter's 17, my daughter's, you know, 18, my daughter's 14. You know, you think about your own kids. So to watch, you know, my brother lose his son, and then to watch, you know, then to think about mine, it's a hurting thing.
Of course.
And of course, you know, at the end of the day, you don't want to be selfish, but
right.
it's, you know, and even now, because when, you know, I'll hit him up or I'll give him a call, he won't answer his phone. Like, you know, whoever the woman was that was saying she had to turn her phone off.
Right.
He doesn't answer his phone. And, you know, it's been about a couple weeks.
It's still fresh. He doesn't have to.
And like I tell people want to blow your phone up all the time. Like, I'm here for you when it first happens. But it's that period when they're gone and they're in the ground and you got to go past their room or you got to go past, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
because see,
yeah.
that's what I tell people that you're not thinking about. He still got him and his wife still have to, you know, take down his room, or if they might not want to take down a room or close the door. And then, you know, it's you know, they have a daughter too, you know, so it's like you don't want to be in grieving so much that you cheat your daughter who's a younger one, you know what I'm saying?
And it's almost like that. I don't want to use the word distraction because I don't want it to be taken out of context.
No, I understand what you're saying.
But that's what they're going, that focus has to be. So it's almost like they'll have their private time of grieving as, you know, as husband and wife. And then and I'm sure they'll incorporate the daughter. Someone else just said, my friend Jamie Mattis, Jamie's been a childhood friend since I was 9. He says, I wish my friends and family could see where I am in life, where I am at in life. I should be dead or in jail, but I'm alive and better than ever. I lost so many people that meant a lot to me, but it makes me want to live for all of us. Jamie, big kudos to you. Big kudos to you. And someone just said, bless the parents. Evelyn just said, bless the parents and the sibling, Lord Jesus. Yeah.
But
yeah.
Here's the thing too. What was his name?
Jamie Mattis.
To Jamie. And this is what I tell people all the time, man. Like with doing the life coaching and stuff, it's like, but what are you gonna? And he's right though. But what are you gonna do with the time that you have now?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where we have to learn to be thankful for the times that we have. I mean,
right.
you know my story, and when God sees fit, I'll completely tell it to everybody. You feel what I'm saying? But right now, the people who are close to me and know my story, I definitely should have been out of here. So it's, what am I doing with this time now? What am I doing with with the moments and the breath that I have every morning that I wake up. See, we sit there when we wake up all the time and we're like, oh, this is going wrong in my life. This is going wrong in my life. That's going wrong in my life. But when you got, you're in your right mind,
right,
and you still have working limbs, and when you still can get a meal, or you still have a roof over your head, you know what? At the end of the day, you have to sit there and be thankful for the little things that you have. So like Jamie was saying, he wished that, his people can see, you know what I mean? Those of us that have those opportunities to allow people to still see us while we're in the land of the living,
right,
or while they're in the land of the living. That's what I'm saying. Like the little things that we fall out for, and the little things that we get upset for, and the things that we not. Listen, Lord knows my brothers and sisters get on my last nerve. I'm the youngest. You know what I mean? We don't get along all the time. We don't see eye to eye all the time. Still my brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? You can't choose your siblings, but they're your siblings. You know what I mean? You can't choose your parents, but they're your parents. If it had not been for my parents, I wouldn't be here even been able to have an opinion or anything like that.
Right.
So based off of what it is that we have and what we're going through, we have to utilize the breath that we have in our body.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
And you know what? Just to piggyback on what you just said real quick, I just want to piggyback on that, because one thing I love about what you just said was you gave examples of how to keep living life. Okay. That is where I want to really, we can piggyback off of that and go into I once was lost, but now I'm found, and dealing with the recovery of life, recovering from rejection, recovering from loss, recovering from death, recovering from losing ourselves. So how do we get to this place of honestly just having the willpower to say, I honestly deserve this life to live on in the midst of, because let's just be honest, there's people that don't want to live based on losses. They lose themselves because they've given themselves to so many people and have got lost in others, got lost in their job, got lost in their finances, and then when those things are gone or leave their life, it's almost like, what do I have left? So how do we go into this recovery mode?
Well, okay, so for one, I think you touched on something that is extremely important. You have to understand that your life matters, that you have to value the life you have. I tell everyone this, that you can't truly love anybody unless you first love yourself.
That's good.
And if you don't truly understand how to love yourself, you're not going to be able to give it to somebody else, because there has to be something in you that also knows exactly what it is you need. So, well, as an example, if this person right here is next to me, but I don't even know what it is that I need or how to need it, I can't expect them to love me properly.
Right.
Because when they're doing something wrong, and you ever notice this as people, it's a natural inclination. We can always tell people when they're doing us wrong, but yet we don't give them information on how to do us right. You feel what I'm saying?
That's good.
We don't give them information on how to treat us right. We don't give them information to be proactive in order to help us, be a better mate. Because, it's not just all about me, but what can I do too to make, you feel better or to be a better person myself?
Absolutely.
So I think what you said, recovering from finances, rejection and stuff like that. For me, the first thing I ask people is, who or what is your God? Because if you've put your stock in man, if you've put your stock in money, if you put your stock in whatever, when those things fail, and they will, when those things fail, are you still going to sit there and be able to know how to move forward? If you make those things, and this is not about religious, it's whatever, for me, I believe in a higher being. But for whatever everyone else is, if that's your God, if money is your God, if that woman or man is your God, and things fall short and they don't work, then you're not going to value who it is or what it is you are, because you'll feel like, well, if so-and-so didn't want me, or, I lost my job, now I don't see the value in my life. Because I know the God that I serve, even when things don't go right, I still know that there's value in my life.
Right.
I still know that there's greater purpose. And the reason I know that there's greater purpose is because he still allowed me to see another day.
Right.
He still woke me up this morning.
Right.
So my life ain't done yet. So
Right.
there's still things that I can do. So instead of me sitting still talking about, wow, you know what, I'm hurting, or me sitting still talking about what's wrong in my life, I got to sit there and try to be like, you know what, this ain't going right, but what can I do to fix it?
That's good.
So, I mean, that's where the healing has to begin.
But we have to actually be willing to say, okay, even though there's some things in me that I have to fix, will I be willing to say that that area needs to be fixed? Or will I just walk around and say, you know what I'm trying to say?
You have to be honest with yourself and be able to, first of all, I heard this a long time ago when I first started doing like the motivational speaking and stuff like that. Somebody told me, if you want to be wealthy, and I'm gonna show you the trick they did on me. They used the Jedi mind trick on me. They was like, if you want to be wealthy, you got to be around rich people. And I was like, oh, I know somebody. I know a lot of people that make this amount of money. And they said, see, that's where you're messing up. They said, if you want to be wealthy, you got to be around rich people. And he kept going like this. And he said, because those people that you are around that might be financially stable, what if they lose their money?
Right.
Are they still going to be wealthy to you?
Right.
Because see, you're putting stock in their wealth as far as their financial, status of where they are,
right.
where their station or class is in life. But if you can sit there and put it in their wealth here, and
right.
you recognize their wealth is in their heart, or you recognize their wealth is in their mind. If you are around rich people, rich people will always be able to sit there and afford to pay you to be you. They will be able to pour into you. They will be able to pour into you mentally. They'll be able to pour into you spiritually. They'll be able to pour into you to the point where financial gain won't even be able to help you, because you can be rich and still be miserable. Look at all these sick people out there and that's still making all this money, and they still feel like they need another fix.
And you know what? Can I make a statement about that? Because now you just totally brought it to a whole different level. So now, how do you look? My girl, Sarah Grace, I love her. She's out of Tennessee. She said, you better preach. I love Sarah. And Marcy said, Lance, I lost my mom 12 years ago. It was the saddest moment in my life. We got to keep her in prayer as well. And so there's
my
a few people.
Marcy.
Yeah, definitely. There's a few people that just jumped on to watch. And so we are grateful for everyone that's tuned in. And so check this out now. You ready for this?
What?
Listen to this. Something that you just said about rich. Rich, am I wrong for saying this? Rich is a state of mind.
No, and that's
rich is a state of mind.
It.
One of the reasons why we don't get to the place that we need to be is because we have this mindset of, okay, well, it's only for a moment. I don't take things, and that's it, instantaneous for a moment, and it doesn't last. Because here's my thing: if your mindset is not there to really just say, this is something that I'm worth, and it's worth longevity. It's going to be fleeting. It's not going to last. It's not going to be sustainable. The only way to truly recover from anything is believing that you're deserving of being fully recovered.
So let's do it like this. I need that for a second. Let's do it like this. If this is a board, this is your chalkboard. People think that I'm bugging sometimes when I do this, because what I do is sometimes I literally take a notebook and say, things to fix for me. And pride comes in. People don't want to do that. And I look at the things. See, I've learned this about myself. If 3 or 4 different people tell you something about yourself that all come from different walks of life and don't know each other, more than likely it's probably true. You understand what I'm saying? So, you have to be able to, 1, take constructive criticism. 2, you have to sit there and say, am I willing to change these things? Because you got some people that have the mindset, they're like, oh, well, you don't like me, that's it, da-da-da-da. That's not growth for me. That's not growth. Because there's things that I can always do to become a better person, and that's part of growing. I don't care if I'm 99 years old. My 99th year, I'm still going to learn something. There's something new I'm constantly going to learn. So I'm looking at my goal board of what it is that I need to change, or the goals that I would like to, the realistic goals and the dream goals of what I would like to accomplish before I leave this earth. I have to understand, just like you sat there and said, there's something, the word longevity. You want to sit there and be able to attain certain growth in something. You can't stop doing what it is that you know that you were called to do. Something that you feel as though you were elected to do, you have to do it, and you have to keep pushing forward even though doors close on you, because a lot of times those doors that are actually closing are actually doors that are being opened for you. So when you know that this is something that you have to do, you have to keep pressing forward. When you can learn to do those things, when you can learn to apply the breath that you have in your body, don't waste a day. Wake up and say, you know what? Maybe I'm drinking too many sodas. Maybe I'm drinking, I'm eating this, that, and other. I don't want cancer, longevity. I don't want cancer.
Right.
So I have to change the way that I'm eating. I don't want to sit there, because I told somebody this today. They tried to say to me, well, certain things are genetic. True indeed. But there's also things called proactive, and you don't have to open the door to genetics. So if you know that cancer runs in your family, then you probably shouldn't smoke. You probably shouldn't sit there and eat artificial food all the time. You probably shouldn't eat processed food, and you probably should take better care of yourself.
Absolutely.
Because maybe for the person who is not their family, it's not a genetic trait in their family where cancer is not passed on from generation to generation. Maybe they'll be able to last longer than the next person.
Right.
So I digress for a second. So I said all that to say that when you know there's things that you need to achieve in your life, don't waste that breath in your body. So like you said, rich thought, it's a state of mind. I need to keep people around me that think the same way and say, I want to eat healthy. I want to live healthy. I want to sit there and try, because if you're not trying to live and eat like that, every time we go out, you want to order a burger all the time, or every time I go over your house, you eating, or you got more alcohol in your refrigerator than you got water or artificial stuff. Then I'm not saying that you're wrong and there's something wrong with you, but based on where I'm trying to sit there and get to, it's not going to be productive for me.
Of course not. It's actually going to be cancerous. Because
and that's the thing. Cancer, what does it do? It eats at you. It eats at you.
Right. Cancer eats at you, and that's pretty much how that goes, unfortunately. It's just okay. So, at the end of the day, okay, I gotta stop saying that.
I should have never turned you on that.
I can't stand you for that, because now every little thing I say is at the end of the day. So, but what you said made a whole lot of sense. So I'll tell you what, why don't we go ahead and take a quick break, if that's okay with you?
Absolutely.
And I want to get into some good music that we have selected back there, and we will be right back on my favorite station,
8 Squad Rebel Radio.
The most talked about internet radio station in the Lion.
Didn't I conquer this last year? Tell me what I missed, 'cause I fear that it's coming back up again. Must be something I ate, some song, some show, some hate. The devil wants to extend the game, free throws, and when it ends he wants to make the sequel. 'Cause if he has another chance, he feels like he can take my joy, my peace, my That's how he keeps you in cycles, 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 cycles. But I'm not going in cycles, cycles, cycles. this will end like I wanted to. I win. The enemy will have to lose again. See, I'm a different fighter now, and I have got to thank, 'cause his joy is my strength. See, the devil will learn it's a mistake when I am sure that I'm not going in cycles. I'm not going in cycles. I'm gonna break the years. I'm not going cycles. I'm gonna break these cycles. I'm not going cycles. Cycles. I'm not going in. Oh, so Lord, help me be free from all of my past sin. See, your love is enough to make me new and help me in these cycles. Help me in these cycles. Oh, Lord, I need you to help me in these cycles. I rebuke him in the name of Jesus. Oh, cycle, yeah, cycle. See, I'm not going in cycle. I refuse it. Cycle. I refuse it. Cycle. Refuse it. Cycle. Of depression. Cycle. I'm seeing cycle. I'm not going in cycle. Cycle. Yeah. See, there is power in the name of Jesus. There is power in the name of Jesus. See, there is power in the name of Jesus to break every cycle, to break every cycle. Yeah. See, there is power in the name of Jesus. See, there is power in the name of Jesus. There is power in the name of Jesus. Yeah. To break every cycle, to break all these cycles, to break all these cycles, to break all these cycles, generational cycle, financial cycle, painful cycle, Oh, I wanna see him, look upon his face. Let us sing forever of his saving grace. On the streets of glory, let me lift my voice. Cares all past, home at last, ever to rejoice. I wanna hear him say, well done. One time, 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 one time. Ooh, I just wanna hear him say, well done. One time, 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 one time. All I wanna do is hear you say it one time. Write my name in the book, call me one time. That's all I really need, just one time. I can't wait till I see you one time. You gave me my
gift, gon' have it back. You fill me with love, so I give it back to you. You give me my husband, you know I love him, and I'll give him back, so you know I'm all in. Lord, take my children, my family. I want you to know that you have me. I need to know that you're happy. Yeah, when I finally stop breathing, I wanna hear you say, well done. One time, 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 one time. Oh, just I wanna hear you say, well done. One time, 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 one time. All I wanna do is hear you say it one time. Write my name in the book, call me one time. That's all I really need, just one time. I can't wait till I see you one time. I wanna wake up in my heavenly home. All my people bow down to the king on the throne. Hold up, wait a minute. Gold streets, gold mansions. Just because I look gone with a passion. Can't get you when it gets, but if you're asking, he'll give you that. Like, can you imagine living without all his grace? Sometimes I still get amazed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Praise you for all of my days until I finally stop breathing. Yeah. One time, 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 one time. Oh, I just wanna hear him say, one time, 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 one time. Don't you wanna live 1,000 forever, 1,000 forever, closer than ever, closer than ever. Yeah, yeah. Don't get any better, don't get any better. Forever, 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 worship forever. Did I say it right? Did I live out loud? Did I do it for you, or did I do it all just for the love of the crowd? Just for the love of the crowd. Did I give you my all? My all. Did I give you my life? My life. You gave me yours, so I gotta give it back, man, it's only right. Said I wanna hear you say, well done. Will you call my name? Well done. Can't wait to get well done. Oh, my great well done. Said I when I get to heaven, well done. Gonna sing and shout, well done. Been nobody there to put me out. Said I will be ready, well done. When they call your name, well done. Do you wanna say Jesus? Well done. Yeah, well yeah, well done. Good and faithful servant. Come on, come on, yeah. Well done. When I say Jesus, amen. Well done, amen. Well done, well done, well done. Sing hallelujah. Well done. With angels. Well done, well done, well done, well done, well
Hi, PT. How are you? Are you still upstate? Oh, I just put you all out there like where you are.
Jesus Christ, I was about to say, put the business. Good thing you ain't running from nobody. Like whoever you told that you was in Florida.
Wait, oops. My bad, PT. You didn't hear that. Hey, Carol. Big shout out to everybody that's tuned in. Listen, just for a quick break, anyone who's interested in advertising their business on the Making Me Matter radio show, just to let you guys know, since March is still Women's History Month.
Yay.
Hey.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to all women.
Absolutely. Just because.
No.
Absolutely.
I definitely want to end the show. I got something I want to definitely tell our women, for real.
Absolutely. So anyone who's interested in advertising, I am actually, check this out. We are giving 10% off of any business that would like to advertise on the Making Me Matter radio show. And not just that, anyone who is interested in ordering a copy of my book, The Unknown Journey to Joy, How to Transition from Morning to Morning, I am also going to go ahead and give you 10% off of that. Who loves discounts? Discounts matter. Hashtag that. So if you guys are interested in advertising your business for the month of, as long as you do it between now And March 31st, you will get 10% off.
That's right. That's right.
Of your entire advertising package, and you will get 10% off of your copy of my book. Lance, what's good?
Nothing. I mean, that's a good thing, and I think that everybody should always support, because if we think about the thing, like we look at our bodies, you got to look at it as a temple,
right?
And we fill our mind and our head and our ears with so much negativity, whether it's on the news that we watch, and it can be accidentally, you know what I'm saying? But when we fill our heads with so much, we have to fill it with words of affirmation.
Right.
We have to fill it with things of joy. So, when you can read a book that's going to give you some type of motivation, and I'm not plugging it because it's your book. Again, if my saying, if it's garbage, it's garbage. But, when it's words that can encourage us to try to be better people and do better, why not?
I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Because I know all the Hustler magazines that I used to read. I'm just being honest, yo. Look, back in the day when Jane Kennedy and stuff was like, Leon Isaac Kennedy, might be too old for some people. Remember Penitentiary?
No.
You never seen Penitentiary?
Never seen
You're not black. So you're not black. You've never seen Penitentiary?
I never even heard of it.
You never heard of Leon Isaac Kennedy?
No.
Yo, wow, my.
Do I need to do some research?
Yes, you know what? I'm gonna give you a list of black movies. I'm serious. Yo, I am going to give you a list of black movies, yo. You've never heard of Penitentiary?
No.
They got a part 3. I think part 4.
Oh.
Mr. T was in one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, stop. Stop. Too Sweet and Half Dead. You ain't never heard of that?
No.
Zay, you ain't never heard of Penitentiary?
Is Zay here? Zay might have stepped out.
Wow.
You got to ask Zay when he gets back.
Yeah.
Did I miss something?
I got to get you up on some black, Have you ever heard of Dolomite?
Of course. But I've never seen Penitentiary. I've never been in Penitentiary.
You know who Jane Kennedy was?
Yes.
You know her ex-husband, Leon Isaac Kennedy?
I don't remember the name. I don't remember who he is. I'm sorry. Am I wrong for not knowing this movie?
I mean, you're not wrong, but
do I lose my black card from not knowing this movie?
You just get discount. You don't got the whole. You don't got the whole card now.
Wait,
you're just silver. You're silver.
Has anyone else? Am I missing something? Have you guys heard of this movie? Okay, so what was your point behind this movie?
I was saying that I used to look at Hustler and all the read all that bad stuff when Jane Kennedy was in there.
Okay.
So I'm saying if that's the case, you can watch something positive. That's what I was going to say.
Well, thank you so much.
Jesus Christ.
And read something. That's what he was saying. Read something positive, which means order your copy of my book.
Exactly. But wow. We got to talk.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, before I finish getting chewed out, Lance, we were having a good conversation in the first half of the segment, and we only have like a couple of minutes left. In regard to recovery, grief, loss, and so forth, based on everything that we said, you have just a couple of minutes to go ahead and give us 2 minutes of your final thought in regard.
I'll rather you, and then I'll.
Okay, so I want to just encourage anyone and everyone that's watching that if you've had a loss, it's okay to grieve. Do not let people tell you how long to grieve. I know people that have said certain things to some that they'll say certain things like, well, you still grieving so-and-so's death, or what's taking you so long you should be past that. No, everyone grieves differently. Everyone processes grief differently. And I don't know if one thing I should have mentioned are the 5 stages of grief. And I'm going to tell you the truth. The 5 stages of grief don't necessarily have to be applied just to a death. They can be dealing with the loss of a job, with life circumstances. So there's certain things that take place, certain stages, but we have the power within us to go ahead and conquer those things. You might be down for a moment. You might be down for a longer minute. You might be down for months or even years. But whatever it takes for you to grieve, go through that journey of grieving so that by the time you actually have your exit, you will be okay. And when those things, when those thoughts, like you mentioned with your grandmother, when those thoughts come across your mind, you might shed a tear, and it will be okay. So I want to encourage you all to know that it's okay to grieve as long as you go ahead and go through the grieving process. And in regard to I once was lost and now I'm found, it's okay for you to rebuild who you are. It's okay for you to come up and operate in a place of recovery from rejection, from disappointments, from breakups, from what's the term I'm looking for? Unemployment. You know, from losing a job, from finances, from
being in a desolate place.
Yeah, being like in what the Bible calls a Lodabar, the lowest place. When some people have been in places that are so low, they don't know how to come back up. So I want to just encourage you: don't put your eggs in apples in the baskets of people and things, because that's when you start literally losing your apples and you start losing your marbles. Don't get so focused on getting lost in the things of this world, because the things of this world are temporal, and you find that out in the midst of loss. So lose yourself in hope, lose yourself in faith, lose yourself in love, lose yourself in God. And that's all I have to say, and I'm done. What do you have to say, Lance?
I pretty much agree with almost everything you said. Only thing I think I would say, I do feel like there has to be a period when you grieve that it can't be unhealthy. And this is why I say this. Because if you're a parent and you have other children, you know what I mean, it can't be to the point where you grieve so much that you're neglecting them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yes, take your time to grieve. I completely agree with that. And there's nothing wrong with when you know that you need to grieve,
right,
that you seek happiness from comfort in talking to somebody. I don't care if it's a therapist.
Right.
I don't care if it's your pastor.
Right.
I don't care if it's your friends. But make sure the people who you are seeking advice for are, like I said, those people who are rich.
Right.
Those people who are going to pour into you healthy. Not somebody telling you like, here, take a drink. Here, let's smoke this. Here, let's shoot this. That's not healthy people. That's not people that's going to pour into you healthy.
Right.
Because if you want to really make yourself matter, you got to make sure that you're not only taking care of the mental part and the spiritual part, but you got to take care of your physical part as well. If you're sluggish with your body, you're going to start to become sluggish in your mind. You're not going to be able to pour into people properly, because you're going to have to be tired and you're going to be needing rest all the time. You need to be able to purposely be able to have yourself and take care of those three parts. When your mental, your physical, and your spiritual line up, it makes it that much easier for you to pour into not just yourself, but to pour into other people too. And sometimes we got to be a walking testimony to the things that, you know, that God allows us to go through, and can't feel sorry for ourselves. You know, whatever you've been lost in, we all have parts where we feel like we failed. We all have parts where we feel like that we've reached rock bottom. There's nothing wrong with that. The thing is, don't stay there. I remember the key part I used to say all the time when people would always be like, oh, you heard that song by Donnie McClurkin, we fell down, you know, we fall down. The key thing he said in there, though, he said a saint was just a sinner who fell down, and the key thing he said was, but got up again.
But got up.
You know what I'm saying? Didn't just stay there. Didn't just stay there and feel sorry for themselves. You look at and it was based on a true story, the movie with Will Smith, The Pursuit of Happiness.
Ooh,
I mean, they didn't went through everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And look at his situation, how it turned out. You got to continue to know that your weeping is only for as long as you allow it to be, and as long as you make it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to end it here by saying this to our women, especially in celebration of Women's Appreciation Month. First of all, it shouldn't be no month. I mean, every day, just like it shouldn't be Black History Month, it should be the people that are in your life should always make sure that they are making it a point for you to realize that you are an integral part of your life. But what you have to understand is the people who you choose to be in your life, whether it's the male or the female, whoever you're with or whoever this message is to, you have to understand what that person's love language is, and you have to understand how that person loves. In order to understand how they love, you have to understand how they might have been loved or how they might have been taught to love. You know, everybody doesn't love the same way. Everybody doesn't show it the same way. But when you two can communicate and understand with each other what it is to grow, what it is to communicate, because that communication has to be, it's essential. When you can learn to grow there with each other, it makes it that much easier to discover what each other's love languages. And I stress the book all the time, the 5 love languages, the 5 love languages, the 5 love languages. Read that book, even take the test and understand what your language is. Once you can understand that, understand what it is that you need in order to love, to be loved, in order to completely be able to give yourself unconditionally. But don't ever get to the point where you put your faith and your stock solely in some one person that, God forbid, if it doesn't work out, because what we might think we want is not necessarily what we need. What we might want might not be what God intends for us. And if you say, well, you don't believe in God, that's between you and your creator. But I'm just going to say this. What we want might not necessarily be what's healthy for us. And sometimes the things that the flesh wants are not things that the soul needs. So with that said, again, make sure that you continue to just put yourself first. Make sure you continue to make yourself matter, and make sure that you keep yourself around rich people. I'm going to keep stressing that. Rich people, not financially, because you know what? Those financial people sometimes are some of the sorriest people.
Say so.
But the people who can be rich in the mind and can be rich in spirit and rich in the flesh usually wind up being rich naturally too. So it's just a matter of time. Keep yourself around people that are going to encourage you to be a better person in life. And with that said, again, y'all be safe. God bless y'all. Again, good to be back. And all those that prayed for me, continue to pray for me. Continue to pray for my family situation. And all those who have lost someone, I wish you well. And remember, don't let your mourning, when it says weeping may endure for night, but joy comes in the morning, don't let your mourning be a lifetime where it's going to spill into the other parts of your life. Make sure that you take your time to grieve, but then make sure you take your time to love too. Peace.
That's what's up. Okay, thank you so much. We'll see you guys next Thursday.
Come on, Bella.
Next Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure that you tell a friend, text a friend, send a smoke signal, share it, and make sure that you tune in to the Make Me Matter radio show next Thursday. God bless you. God keep you. We will see you next week.
8 Squad Rebel Radio.
The most talked about internet radio station in the land.
The best in me. When everyone else around me could only see the worst in me. I wish I had a witness tonight. Said he saw the best in me. I guess I'm the only one that got this testimony. When everyone else around me could only see the worst in me. Can I tell y'all one more time, one more time? I said he saw the best in me. When everyone else around me could only see the worst in me. I wish I had a witness tonight. All I need is one. Hey, he saw the best in me. When everyone else around me,
Everyone else around
can only
see the worst in me.
Does anybody have that testimony? When folk wrote you off, said you would never make it, what did he see?
He saw the best in me.
When everyone else around me is,
When everyone else around
can
only see the worst in me.
Can I tell y'all one more thing? I just need to tell you one more thing. Listen to this. See, he's mine, and I am his. It doesn't matter what I did. He only sees me for who I am. Does anybody know that tonight? Oh, see, he is mine, and I am his. Said it doesn't matter what I did. See, he only sees me for who I am. Help me sing it. Yeah, girl. Said that he is mine.
He's mine.
I'm his.
I'm his.
Said it doesn't matter what I did.
Matter what I did.
He only sees me for who I am.
He only sees
Yeah.
me for who I am.
wish I had a witness tonight. That may be somebody else's testimony. Help me say it, help me say it. He saw the